All right, we're live. That's pretty cool. We got 3 people just like in here straight off the bat. I don't know if you guys are real, but if you are, leave a comment. I have no agenda for today. It's literally just Q&A, and if we don't have questions, I'll dive into some of the strategy that I'm working on with some of my clients. But yeah, anyone, I know the last time there were some people that didn't know who I was, which is totally understandable because I am a very small creator. But in case you don't know who I am, I'm a copywriter, won the School Games Alex Ramody's competition back in August. And I write copy for some of the biggest school communities on the platform. And that is the only place that I write copy. So everything I know is about converting free members and free audiences to paying members on Skool. So yeah, I am excited for this. Give people a minute or two to join. I posted this in my free community. And then I also obviously am live here on YouTube, so my entire audience here is seeing it. But yeah, drop a question if you have one. If you've started a community and you have questions around that, how to convert people, how to bring in more members, how to grow your free community or your paid, ask questions about that. Or if you're a freelance copywriter, let's dive into that as well. Obviously, that's what I do. I'm a copywriter full time. So I know a lot of people on this channel are copywriters themselves. So happy to go in either direction. I think that's kind of the cool thing about what I do is that a lot of knowledge on the community building side. That's what I do for my clients, help them build their school communities. Worked with over 15 School Games winners. But then my main thing is I'm a freelance copywriter. So that's what I do. But yeah, great question. Okay, let me see if I can highlight these questions. Pin. Okay, I don't know if that means like people can see it, but I think it does. So the best way to get free members with no audience is to start creating content. You don't need a big audience to get free members. And like I have now, like I have some followers. I have 2,000 on YouTube and about 1,500 on Instagram. So really, I don't have an audience of any crazy size. But I started my YouTube channel almost a year ago, or just over, in like May of last year, and I just sent every single video of the CTA was just for the free, my free community. And at the time I was teaching freelancers how to get their first client. So all my YouTube videos were about how to get your first client as a copywriter. And then it would basically be like, all right, guys, if you want more help, hop over to my free community, go live there once a week, and you can, dive into all of my free materials. And that'll help you get started. And that was the CTA on all my videos. And that's how I grew that channel, or grew that community to like 1,400 members, I think it is now, something like that. So yeah, really easy. It was just like I posted a lot of YouTube content, and I got some members organically on Skool as well. So if you're in any niche now, especially the make money niche, you can get so many really, really warm leads from Skool. I know personally people not even in the make money niche, like in hobbies, in like health communities, and they're getting members from Skool discovery because people are just searching. Like people could search fitness and find fitness community. People could search copywriting and find my community. People could search course and find Max Pearson's community. So that's really cool. That's a new thing that's not really been around as long, but yeah. So hopefully that helps. Just make content. I would recommend YouTube because you build a lot of trust a lot faster. And I would post content that's really organic to you. So think about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Make content that's not super edited, doesn't take a lot of time from you, and it's just like organic. It's just, you're talking about what you're doing on a daily basis. And then hopefully that ties into your free community. And then you can just, push out a bunch of content, film it on your iPhone. It doesn't need to be fancy. And yeah, then send them to the free community. Okay, let's see. We got a couple more comments. How did you get your first client? Yeah, so I got my first client. There's like 2 stories, right? So I have like the first ever person that paid me, and then I have the first ever client that I tried to get, because I did not try to get my first ever client. So I'll tell both. But the first ever client that paid me was this guy, Ted, and I paid like basically all the money I had left in my savings to join his coaching community in February of last year. And it was just a community around how to start your first online business. So super broad, super vague, not a clear promise, but I wanted to make money online. So I joined, and I invested a couple grand into that program, and he shot me a message. So he knew that I had done some like social media stuff, and he shot me a message 2 weeks in, and basically was just like, hey, Patrice, do you know how to write? And I respected this guy so much. He was like a celebrity to me. I followed him on YouTube, and I just thought he was so cool. And I was paying him thousands of dollars, to be able to be a part of his group. And so I got that message and I was like, I'm going to have to figure out how. I think I responded to him just like, yeah, like I love writing. But the funny thing is I hadn't ever done any type of copywriting ever. And I didn't even know what the word meant. So when he sent me that message, I think it could have literally been anything. He could have asked me like, do you know how to build a skyscraper? And I would have been like, yeah, like totally. And I would have figured it out because I just thought he was so cool. And so I figured it out. I wrote him like 200 pages in 3-4 weeks. It was like a series of lead magnets and like a book actually. So I wrote a book. That was insane. I think I spent, I watched every piece of content he had on YouTube. He had a pretty big YouTube following, like 60,000 subscribers, a lot of YouTube content, had been posting for 5 years. I literally was watching his content for like 8 hours a day for a month straight and then writing for the rest of the day. So that was technically my first client. He paid me $2,000. I still thought like copywriting was for brokies at that point. I was kind of naive. And I thought that copywriting was like a side hustle. You couldn't make money with it. You had to charge super low ticket and it was super hard to get clients. I thought you had to do outreach. So I was not interested in doing copywriting. And so I didn't do it. I just worked with him. And then I went back to doing what I was trying to do on school, which was like launch a community. But that didn't work. I launched like 2 communities, lost money. So I had like a community I launched with a business partner. He wound up taking all the money. I lost $1,400. And that happened in April. And I was so pissed that I had lost money that I basically was like, I have to figure out how to make money. I have to get another client or whatever. Like I'm just like done being broke. And I was just pissed. So I went and took a bunch of sales calls. I had a list of leads, you could say, because I had done podcasts with all these business owners on school and I just interviewed them. And the reason I was interviewing them was I literally just wanted to grow my YouTube channel and I thought I could make money with a podcast. But what I didn't know what I was doing was basically creating these really valuable relationships. So I'd done that for a couple months. And by the time I was at like in April, when I lost money and I was pissed and I was just ready to, do whatever it took to make money with copywriting, I had all of these different contacts. And so I emailed every single one of them. I emailed like 40 people and I was like, hey, I just started copywriting. I've gotten some good results. I wrote some copy for this guy, Ted Carr. I've got a 50+% open rate and would love to write some free copy for someone if you know anyone who needs it. And so that's basically where it all started. Trying to think who the next copywriter. The next guy that I worked with was actually a clothing brand owner. He wanted to start a community on school and teach about his like clothing brand. It was a really interesting brand, and so he became the next client. And then I signed about 10K worth of clients in 1 month after that whole episode where I was just so pissed that I had lost money. And I signed 10 clients, or I signed 10K worth of clients. I think it was like 6 or 7 clients. And then June came and I went to the school games for the first time because I had clients there. I wrote a book for another guy at the school games. It was just insane. And so from there, it kind of blew up because I was just around all of these really cool people. And then, I started coaching. I won the school games in August. That's kind of the story there. Then I stopped coaching and went all in with Done For You, which is the opposite of what most people do, but there's a whole strategy behind that. So can you share a bit more about it? I don't know what specifically, but I think that was hopefully that was what you're looking for. Just like the story. Copywriting is great if you're really good at like the sales psychology side of things and getting inside people's heads. Like that's what you have to do to be a good copywriter, is basically just leverage like sales psychology in the written form and be able to speak very conversational English to just like create trust with the reader. So it's not something you can do with AI. It's not really something that AI has mastered yet. AI sounds very formal. It sounds very cold compared to like an actual copywriter. So it's still a very high leverage skill because you can't really like delegate it to a machine yet. So that's good. But so that's kind of the story of how I got into it. I'm curious, like how many people on here are community owners? The best copy to start with, I didn't ever have a niche, so I'm not the best person to answer that, but I would say what my clients pay the most for are emails and webinars. And like I would never niche down or limit yourself if you're just getting started. Like just sign clients and find out what they need and do it. And then niche down once you've signed like 10 clients and you found something you like, or you found something you're really good at, and then you can niche down. But ultimately, like when you're just getting started, you just need to sign clients, and that's the truth of it. And then once you've signed clients, then you can get picky and have a niche. But would you recommend LinkedIn cold outreach to get people into my 999 community? I'm curious what your community is about. But LinkedIn can be really good for like professional communities. Like if your community is around jobs, for example, like getting people jobs. I have a client, and basically he teaches people in the UK how to get a job as an immigrant student. And he gets all of his leads from LinkedIn. He does 60K, I think 65K a month now. And he just posts every day on LinkedIn. And his name's Farhoon, if you want to look him up. But yeah, done for you coaching. What does that mean though? Coaching what? That's really all that matters, is like what you're coaching. Because that defines your avatar. But yeah, like he gets all his leads from LinkedIn. He posts, he tells a story, he includes a picture, and then people just like, he'll have a CTA at the end, say me to get XYZ lead magnet. People will comment, and then he'll go and engage with them. And he gets a lot of leads directly onto sales calls from LinkedIn posts. So the thing with LinkedIn is people on LinkedIn are not like the same kind of audience as Instagram. They're not the same kind of audience as YouTube either. You have to look at why do people go onto a platform, and that kind of determines the lead quality. So people go on to Instagram to be entertained, to maybe be, inspired sometimes, maybe just connect with friends. Usually it's a status related thing. It's usually like they want to post something that's gonna make all their friends think, oh my God, they're living an incredible life. So it's like a highlight reel. They're not going on there to buy something. They're not going on there to learn something. People go onto LinkedIn to connect, to network, to show off their professional stuff. So there's a status element there, but it's professional status. So that is higher leverage. Also, LinkedIn works really well if you have like creatives. So the picture attached to your post is like in an office setting. So if your creative is like work related, it does better. But yeah, so that works. I think YouTube, the audience is typically going on YouTube to learn something. A lot of people go onto YouTube to be entertained, but depending on your niche, like if you have let's just use me as an example, like copywriting. People aren't searching copywriting to be entertained. They're searching copywriting to learn about copywriting. And so when I make really targeted content on YouTube, when I was coaching and I would talk about copywriting, it was really, really easy to get people to then go and click on a book a call page because they were qualified leads already. And I charged like $9.99 a month starting out with copywriting. So that was like a high ticket coaching offer. And it was so easy to convert leads on YouTube. Like I think before I even had 800 subscribers, I had like 700 something subscribers, and I had done $20,000 in coaching. That was last summer. I was brand new to business. I had no idea what I was doing. My funnel sucked. I actually had no funnel. I literally just had a calendar. So you do not need anything fancy to do like a high ticket coaching offer. Super profitable as well. It's like probably the easiest business model to scale. I just didn't stick with it because I prefer to actually work with the entrepreneurs themselves. So I'm doing done for you kind of agency style, and I am actually making more money doing this, but it's harder to scale because you're having to deliver on every single client that you sign. So you're limited that way. Is the copywriting gig legit? I have no idea what that means. Like if you're making money with are you asking if people can make money with copywriting? Because yeah, like my business does between like 30 to 40K a month. So you can. I don't know if you're referring to somebody's copywriting course. A lot of those are kind of sketch, but there's good ones out there too. I have actually never signed up for a copywriting course in my life. So to get started with copywriting, I did 0 courses. Just literally went and asked clients if they needed it. And that's how I got started and kind of learned along the way, and then hired a coach when I was like, after I'd hit my first 30K month or my second 30K month, I hired a coach. So that was October of last year or September or something. But yeah, it's definitely a great way to make money. If you're really good with sales psychology, you speak very conversational English, then yeah, 100%. What's the best way to get clients if YouTube has no views? Cold outreach. Are you referring to copywriting? Or are you referring to school community members? Because I am not a fan of cold outreach, so I'll just say no to that no matter what. If it's school community or if it's copywriting, no, I don't think cold outreach is the best. Because yeah, I never did it myself. So there's some people who probably disagree, and you could ask them about cold outreach, but I've never done cold outreach. I've literally gotten every single client through in-person conversations or over like the online space on mastermind calls through communities. I just go and I network and I make sure that people know who I am. And I go and I attend mastermind calls, whether they're free, whether they're paid. I tend to get invited into communities for free because I go and I add value to the creators, which gets you invited for free, which then puts you around other potential clients. I go to a lot of events. I invest like a lot of the money that I earn into going back to business events, which is where I then meet future clients. So like recently I went to an event that I spent like $6,000 to go to. And I like since the start, like the story I told at the beginning where I invested the last savings I had to be a part of a mastermind. Like I've always done that. Even when I didn't have a lot of money, like I was still going to events. At one point I was going to an event every single month because that was my only source of leads. So I would say either network with people online. You don't have to go to in-person events. It's definitely better too. But if you can't network with people online, I would say like about 50% of my clients come from online networking. Another 50% come from some form of like, that might be a lie. It might be more like 70% come from online now. But at the start, I would say like 80% were coming from in-person because my first two clients, they were in-person connections. Technically, like that TED guy was just online. So that's like, but he reached out to me, so I'm not even counting that. But I would say like networking is the best way because then when you reach out to a lead, you know their business, you already know what they need, and they already trust you. So you don't feel like you're pitching, you feel like you're solving a problem. And it's way more fun as well because if you're working with people you don't even know who they are, like that just sucks to me. I don't know. I don't want to like send out 100 cold DMs a day and then like, work with the most top like desperate people that happen to respond. I don't know. I know you can get cold leads that are good. So like there is a benefit to it, but I just don't do it. I would rather know my clients and I'd rather know that they have high quality offers that I feel like I can get results for. Because I don't want to work with anyone that I'm not confident I can make money for. So that's like my rule. But yeah, like if you're trying to get leads for your community, it totally depends what your community is about. So if you send a message of what your community is actually about, then I could help you. But I know some people get leads from Facebook. They go into Facebook groups and they network in there. I know some people that get leads from school. They join school communities and they network in there. That's how I got a lot of my community members when I was doing that. I know some people that do a lot of Instagram short form content and retarget their audiences. But the best funnel I've seen is just creating YouTube content because like you don't need an audience to get members from YouTube. I started my YouTube channel 1 year ago and within like 3 or 4 months, I'd made 20K and I had less than 800 subscribers. I was averaging probably like 200 views a video, but occasionally I get a video that would do like 400 or 500 views. And like, I was getting calls booked every single day, like every single day. So you do not need 1 million subscribers. You don't even need 10,000 subscribers to get calls booked. So if you're trying to get leads for your community, make YouTube content. That's going to be the most solid way because also then, like the people in that channel, the people that are coming from your YouTube, they already understand your offer. They're already warm because they're part of like your YouTube free community. And yeah, they already trust you. They already know what you're talking about. They probably relate to you in some way. So yeah. Is it possible to get into copywriting gig without purchasing the online copywriting coaching course? The first thing you got to do, I don't know how to say your name. Is it Kong? You have to learn conversational English because I'm reading your comment right now and it's not conversational English. So I think the biggest thing you need to work on is reading and watching a bunch of like English TV, reading a bunch of English books, because you're not going to get a copywriting client if your English is not perfect. You can't speak like, you have to speak conversationally. So the way that I'm talking right now is conversational English. And it's the exact same way that I write. And that's essential. Otherwise, I would say go into like coding, go into day trading, go into any other make money niche because copywriting is the one niche where you need to have perfect English. So it's really tough. Alternatively, I do know copywriters that do other languages in their copywriting. So that's just a note on that. But yeah, you don't need to be a part of a course. I just said at the beginning, I've never been a part of a copywriting course. So you absolutely do not need to buy anything to be a copywriter. In fact, everything you need to start and launch a business is online. You can learn everything for free. Harvard posts, this is crazy. Harvard literally posts their courses for free. And I know this because at one point, like I cared about college and I used to go and take Harvard classes and I learned like rhetoric. I think I did like a law class or something, but I was shocked because people were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to this college and they post all the recordings for free. The only difference is you don't get a piece of paper that says you graduated. So Yeah. Another question from Anastasia. Okay, I need to know what your offer is, and then I'll answer your questions because I can't answer them without context. But yeah, like everything you want to learn, whether it's copywriting, whether it's building a community, everything's free. The thing that you pay for when you buy a course is implementation. You pay for somebody to go and take all that knowledge that you just learned and show you how to apply it and do it with you. And for me, at least, like when I invest into a course, it holds me accountable. So I pretty much only invest into things that involve like networking or that involve me like getting around other creators that are like doing 10x what I'm doing. I don't really invest in like, I don't know. I don't invest in like an AI course because I know I can just go learn that on YouTube. I don't invest in like a copywriting course because I can just go learn that on YouTube. I would invest into a copywriting coach who would review my copy and tell me what to tweak. I personally don't do that, so that's not a pitch. I don't do any copywriting coaching. But that's like the difference. Is like I would pay for feedback, for implementation, for somebody to look at like my work and tell me, hey, you're doing this wrong, fix it. But I wouldn't pay for just a course personally. I would just go find it on YouTube. How do you prospect? That's a great question. I don't prospect a ton now. And I guess Musa, like clarified prospect, you mean just finding leads, right? Because I don't really do a ton of like outreach. So that's, I think, what is kind of different about like my strategy. So what I do is I make sure I'm at events every single quarter. So I either go to a marketing event or I go to like a school event or I go to some kind of a business event, right? So I actually went to a real estate event and I spent like $4,000 to go to a real estate event like a couple months ago. Last week, actually, I was at the London school meetup. So I was at a school event with a bunch of, school games winners and went and just networked with them. And then I was at another event 2 months ago in San Diego. And that was also a school event. So yeah, that's what I do. That's how I find clients. And I also just network a ton through like school and through like I have an email list. I have my own list of leads that I've generated through my free community. So I get a lot of members there. But the thing with copywriting is like I'm not trying to sign 10 or 15 new clients every month. Like 5 clients a month is a lot for me because I already have clients that are like ongoing clients that are, renewing every single month. And so if I'm signing 5 new clients every month and I'm doing the delivery, it becomes insane. Like it becomes actually crazy. So I would have to like scale it into an agency. But yeah, like I just signed a client today for like 4K and every single bit of that client's work I'm going to be delivering on. So if I go and I sign another 5 clients right now, that's why it's not super scalable. Instead of signing a bunch of clients, you have to figure out how to raise your prices and just charge them more. So if you can charge like I have clients that charge like almost 20 grand too. That's how you scale. Because if you can get 5 clients and at first maybe you charge them 2K each, you're making 10K. It's pretty good. But then the next month you want to scale. Is it easier to go find another 5 clients or is it easier to charge those same 5 clients 4K? Even if one of them's like, no, I'm not paying that and they leave, you're still making way more money. Like how much money would that be? Like that's like 16K. And then you go and you increase the price again. And then like all of a sudden you're making 50K because you charge 10K a client. Like that's how you want to do it. Yeah. So you can scale to 100K for sure without building a whole team. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful, Musa, is like you should be less focused on like a bunch of quantity of clients and just getting really good results for a few people. Because if you have some really good clients who have a big brand and like people find out you write for them, then clients come to you. So like I don't prospect at all anymore. Clients come to me. And I'm not trying to sign 10 new clients every single month because it literally would be insane. I don't want to own an agency. I'd rather just like have a few really good clients I work with that I charge like 10K to and scale to 100K with that without having to sign 20 clients every single freaking month. That would be insane. Any thoughts on selecting a niche? Yeah, selecting a niche. So there's like this great illustration a lot of creators talk about, Ikigai. Are you familiar with that? Probably you guys have probably seen it. It's like the 3 circles. Things that you're passionate about, things that the market actually is paying for and wants, and then like things that I think what's the third one? Is it things that people need? Things you're passionate about, things that make money, and then I think things that people need. Something like that. So that's like kind of a good thing to map out. What are like maybe list out 10 things you really, really love. list out 10 things that people are currently paying for right now, and list out 10 things that like you can make a lot of money with. Because then you find like, what does the market actually want? What's actually going to make me money? And what am I actually going to enjoy doing? Because you can really make money with anything, but a good filter is like, look at that market and see if there's somebody already making money coaching that or building a community around that. And if they're not, then chances are it's not a very good market because there's probably not a lot of demand. So you want to find a niche that's somewhat saturated. Saturated niche is just a proven niche. And then, yeah, like something that you're passionate about, because for sure, like it's going to be tough to scale if you're not passionate about it. Now, one way that I like to look at it is I am passionate about copywriting because I'm passionate about business. And I know that this isn't going to be the last business I own. It's not probably not even going to be doing copywriting like 2-3 years from now, but it is going to be the stepping stone to the next business I do. So I wasn't hesitant like about going all in with copywriting. I mean, it did take me like, to be fair, first client was in February. I didn't make 10K until June. So there was like a gap there, right? But like when I went all in, it wasn't because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do copywriting forever. But like, I was just like, this makes money right now. And it gets me around entrepreneurs that are really, really cool people. So I can scale out of that into something even cooler because of the relationships I'm building right here. So that's one thing to look at. But ultimately, if you find out what the market wants, if you find out what makes money and you find out what you're passionate about, there's going to be an overlap between those 3 things. And that's what you should do. So those are my thoughts on selecting a niche. My offer is done for you copywriting, funnel building, and marketing. Okay. So would you recommend paid ads to my info business community without an already existing organic audience? If you're doing done for you, why are you building a community though? That's my question. I think like there's like a lot of people join a community because they want to learn how to do something themselves. But if you have a done for you pitch, you have to be really clear in your marketing. You can definitely do it. But like, yeah, you have to be really clear in your marketing that it's not like they're not learning something. Because I have like a lot of people join my free community to learn copywriting, which is fine. I love that. But it's like, it means the majority of the leads there are probably not going to be done for you clients for a long time. Now, like if I run a promotion or I do, something special, something cool in the community, then there are for sure leads there. I get a lot of consulting leads there actually, but the done for you leads come from bigger communities on Skool. So my community, it basically it's like an experiment community where I can show my clients, hey, this is why this works. This is why you should create YouTube content. Because look what I just did. Because I just built this community that did 30K and that was proof of concept. And yeah, that's what I would say to that. But yeah, since you don't do that, what would you recommend to help me getting my copy Skool website streamlined? Great question, Kim. I think, let me pin this. I think, so since you don't do that, what did I not do? Cold outreach? I think you're talking about cold outreach. Yeah. Getting your copy streamlined. Biggest things is like you need a very, very clear promise. Your promise has to be something measurable. So if you have a clear promise, every other piece of copywriting that you have is going to become better. Like it's all going to be streamlined. But your promise has to be quantifiable. So if you have a quantifiable promise, that just means that at the end of working with you, people can look back and measure how successful they were. So yeah, like a look back window is really good to keep in mind. So if you have a monthly MRR group, the look back window is 30 days. People look back and they can see I signed 10 clients or I didn't, or they can see I increased my income by 10K or I didn't, or they can see I lost 10 pounds or I didn't, or I got a 6-pack or I didn't. They have to be able to measure how successful they were. So things that aren't like good promises are like grow your career, be more successful, look better, like make more money. Those aren't measurable. It needs to be like increase your job offers by 100% or something. Increase your pay raise by 10K a year. Sign 5 new clients. Stuff like that is super measurable. So that's the first thing is like make sure that promise is represented in all your copy and it's the same promise. Same promise in your YouTube videos, same promise in your headlines, same promise in your VSL, your sales page, your Skool About page. Everything has to reflect that promise. And it's not that it's going to be blasted everywhere. It's not going to say, let's say your promise is like make an extra 10K per year with this XYZ skill set. That's not going to be the title of everything. But every YouTube video should be helping them improve their career to get closer to that. Every piece of copy on your sales page should reflect that promise somehow, some way. So that's like the key thing. And a couple tactical things you can do to make sure your copy is good is, number one, make sure you check all your emails for like flag words. So go on to like, what's it? Mailmeteor.com, I think. But if you just search like Google spam word checker, there's like a bunch of free services. You paste your email in there, it'll flag any words that are going to land you in the spam folder. So that's number one. Go check your emails for spam. Number two is make sure when you're writing like a long form school post or email or ad that you're using visual language. And what that means is like when your prospect is reading it, when your lead is reading it, they should be able to like watch a movie in their head. So instead of saying like, let's say it's a fitness niche. I use this example sometimes. Like instead of saying Susie had so much success with our program, I mean, after 6 weeks, she lost 10 pounds. That's just a fact. That's not a visual. That's not a story. That's not something I can watch in my head. It's just Susie lost 10 pounds. Cool. But if you say Susie woke up after week 6 of checking her weight on the scale every single day, she went to the bathroom, she stepped on the scale, and she could not believe her eyes. The number on the scale was the lowest it had ever been since before she had her kids. And she tried on a pair of pants. They finally fit again. And she could not believe the results that she was getting in our program. That's like something you can watch in your head. And granted, I just made that up, so like it could be better, but like that's a visual. So you want to make sure your copy, you write it first. You can write Susie lost 10 pounds first, but then go back and make it a visual. Go back and like paint a movie in their head. If you can speak visually, then like you're going to get so many more conversions, because the fact is like stories sell. And so you want to make every piece of your copy kind of embody that element of storytelling. Even if it's not a story, make it visual. So like you can use similes, you can use analogies to do that. Like if you're just talking about like your program, talking about your features, use some analogies, use some humor, make a joke. Yeah, so that's one way to do it. Like, and by the way, if anyone here doesn't know what like a simile or an analogy is, like smooth like butter, that's a simile. An analogy would be like, oh my God, I'm so bad at thinking of these on the spot. But like you guys, like, you know, when you go and you compare something to something that's totally different, to draw like a comparison, to draw like a similarity out of it, that's an analogy, but it usually uses something visual. So like if someone's like, somebody said, let's say like we're talking about how to build a course here. Someone's like, trying to build a course without organic content is about as easy as trying to peel a carrot with a fork. That's an analogy, right? Like trying to peel a carrot with a fork. That sounds horrible. So that's like when you can kind of take a random fact and just make it more visual. So that's one thing I would check all of your copy for, Kim. I would make it super visual, and I would make sure any emails and posts that are going to go through your Go High Level account are flagged, or not flagged, but you're checking for flag words so that they're not going to damage your domain. Really rely on emails, especially if your audience is over the age of 30. School posts are really good. And then, yeah, if your audience is a little bit younger, like you can use some different like DM marketing, SMS marketing techniques, and those work really well. But yeah, like overall, the more you can target your audience, the more you can get them live, the more sales you're going to make. So if you can get them live in your free community, if you can get them live on onboarding calls, you can get them live on like group Zoom calls, stuff like that, like you're just going to have more sales. It's just a fact. So yeah. Really awesome, Kong, trying to improve my English skills every day. Great way to do that. I mean, I've never had to like learn English besides when I was a little kid, but I've heard the best way to like learn any language is just to go and like immerse yourself. The easiest way to do that is just to watch like English TV. That's how you're going to learn like conversational English, as opposed to like just really strict formal English, which is not the kind of English we write in. How would you recommend sponsoring YouTube videos to get my done for you coaching offer in front of more people? Well, like that's the thing, right? Like done for you and coaching is like opposite. So you can't really have done for you coaching. Like coaching is helping somebody do something themselves. So that's like done with you. Done for you is building something for someone, like an agency service. So that's not coaching. So that's why I'm confused with your offer, Anastasia. Like if you have a done for you offer, that's like what I do. Like I go and I write somebody's about page, but I don't teach them how to write an about page. That would be coaching. That would be done with you. So yeah, like that's those are two totally different things. So I'm still a little confused on what your offer is, but like if you have a done for you offer, that's an agency type thing. That's a service-based business. So yeah, like creating YouTube videos about that. It's like, I would just write like, or I would just write or film a video about how to write an about page. And then like, hopefully people that are like trying to figure out how to write an about page would just hire me to do it for them. That's how I find some of my clients, is through YouTube videos. If I was running a coaching offer, I would make a video like how to get your first client. And then people that wanted to get the first client and wanted my help to do it would go and like book a call and join my coaching offer. And those are just like 2 real life examples, because I did coaching, and that's the kind of videos I would make. It's just like how to do XYZ, typically about making money or signing clients, teach them exactly what I did. And it's like, if you guys want help doing the exact same thing, book a call below and I'll strategize with you and map out a game plan. That was for coaching. For Done For You, it's like, if you guys just want me to write this for you, use all the techniques that I've used to help over 4 people win the school games, just book a call below and we can jump on and see if it's a good fit. That's a totally different CTA. So it depends if you have a Done For You offer or a coaching offer, because they're 2 totally different things. But yeah, it sounds like you have a coaching offer because you have a school community. So I would say like your YouTube strategy should just be around your niche, which I still don't know what your niche is. You haven't said your niche in any of these messages. Or you've mentioned funnel building, but you said that was Done For You, so that's not coaching. So honestly, I don't really know. But if you were coaching funnel building, then you should just make videos like how to build a funnel. And you should give away all of your information for free. People will pay you for the implementation. So yeah, that's what I'd say that. But any other questions around like school communities, funnels, copywriting? Also curious, where is everybody based? Like what countries do we have here? I'm in the UK right now, but I'm about to be in New York soon, and I'm so excited for that. So Pakistan, cool. Yeah, it's like 6:30 p.m. here, so I'm actually about to go to the gym after this, but it's so freaking hot in the UK right now that I've been waiting all day to go to the gym. That's something I've actually gotten really, really into recently, is like I write every day, right? I don't take any days off. I actually don't know the last time I took a day off. It's been over a year. But now I go to the gym and I work out for 2 hours every day. So if I sound tired, I am a little bit tired. I've had like 2 coffees today. 45 Celsius is insane. I don't even know. That's insane. That's like over 100 Fahrenheit. But yeah, I like run 4 miles a day because my gym is 2 miles away. So I run there and I run back, and sometimes I walk, to be fair. I walk back on leg days. But 4 miles every single day, 7 days a week. And I do leg days every other day. So like 3 to 4 times a week, and abs every day, and arms and whatnot. And I'm just giving you guys my whole workout routine right now. But it gets insane. Like, oh my God, some of the client work that I've had recently, like I've had now like 2 weeks in a row, I've had like some rush projects, like VSLs, webinars. I have like a client that I'm doing a full school build for. And like, it gets insane because you're like physically working out 2 hours a day and working, like your mind is working like 12, 13, 14 hours a day. Like I was up till, gosh, almost like 1 a.m. last night working on a VSL, and then woke up at like 7 something in the morning. So that's 6 or 7 hours of sleep. But it's so good. Like the reason I'm able to do that is because like I'm doing something I love. I get to live wherever the heck I want in the world. And like the freedom that comes with when you're just like working at something that you're actually passionate about, and you do it on your time. You work long hours because you want to work long hours, not because you have to. It's such a cool life. You have so much energy. You wake up in the morning and you're actually excited to go get to work. And like, I can appreciate that because that's not how my life was for so long. I worked a 9-to-5 job. And yeah, I started working a 9-to-5 job as a teenager in an office. Like as I jumped straight out of college and into the 9-to-5 world. So I actually quit college, dropped out, jumped into a 9-to-5. And I think I did it for 3 years. And I just remember thinking like, how am I ever going to get out of this place? All the people around me working at the desks were like twice my age. And I was the youngest person there. And I remember just seeing how miserable they were. They're eating McDonald's every day. They were all overweight. They were all unhappy. They barely spoke to each other. And I was like, holy crap, I got to get out of here. And so, yeah, I quit my job after doing that for 3 years without any plan. And all I had was like savings that I had saved up for the last 3 years. And my mom told me something. I was living at home at the time. And she was like, and she's not an entrepreneur. So I was kind of surprised she said this. She was like, you've been talking about quitting your job. You've been talking about being an entrepreneur. Like, when are you going to do it if not now? You're living at home. You have no overhead. You don't even pay like for like an apartment right now. What do you have to lose? And I was like, true. And I don't think I wanted to admit it at the time. It took me like 3 months because she told me that in the fall, and I quit my job in the winter. But I finally quit my job. I literally just like flew to LA, and that was all just on a whim. I had no guaranteed income. I had no idea where my next clients were coming from. I had no idea if I was going to be able to pay rent. And I literally had like a countdown of when I was going to have to move home if I didn't get a client. And I did that before I'd made the 10K. And so that's on taking risks, because that motivated the heck out of me to go and take action. And that's why my story is so crazy. That's why I went from negative $1,400 to positive $10,000 in 30 days. Won the school games 3 months later, because I didn't have I applied the pressure. I didn't have a back door. I quit the job. I quit like college. I didn't have anything else to do. So yeah, that's like really cool to look back on now, because I think I have a life that's pretty cool. It's not like, the life that I want in, a few years, but I'm pretty happy with where I'm at so far. And, I'm still working really hard because there's way, way, way more I'm going to accomplish. But it's pretty cool to look at that and know like you earned every single piece of that. Because like I grew up dirt poor. Like there's a point where I was living in a trailer, and so like every single bit of like every win, every single client, everything that I've earned, I know that I earned it. And that feeling, like that kind of like respect that you earn for yourself when you do that, is really, really cool. It's probably the coolest part of entrepreneurship. It's like when you go out and you freaking build something and you tap into your potential and you realize like, oh my God, like I could have been doing this all along. Like, it's not actually that hard. It's such a good feeling. And like, I think that's like what it means to like really be alive, is tap into your potential, tap into those things that scare you and do them anyway, and go and figure it the frick out. Because anything that you're not good at or any skill you lack, you can go and outwork. So that was my mentality, at least. Maybe that's valuable to some people. When I first started, I was like, I'm not confident. I'm not skilled at sales. I don't have connections. I'm not rich. I don't have a college degree. I don't have anything going for me. But I have a work ethic. And so I'll outwork all those people that have advantages over me, and I'll just work harder than them. And that's exactly what I did. So that's what I would encourage you guys to do, is like whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it's build a community or start like freelance copywriting or start an agency, like just come into it with the attitude of like, sure, you're probably going to have some things that hold you back. You probably have some things that are like disadvantages to you. Maybe it's where you live. Maybe it's your parents. Maybe it's like the fact that you're working full time. Maybe you're a single parent. Whatever it is, I don't care. Go and just work harder than all the other people, because you have all the more reason to go and be successful. So yeah, that's that. Since there's no questions, I'm going to log off, but hopefully you guys have an incredible rest of your week. Crush it. Have a productive weekend. Work hard. And yeah, if you're not already in the free community, feel free to pop in there if you have any other questions or something. But I think I'm going to do this every week. I'm traveling back to the States next week, so we'll see. But I should be doing this next week because I will actually be in New York. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. And I think I'll talk to Kim probably before then, because Kim's in Max's C-suite. So I'll see you there, Kim. But have a great rest of your week, guys. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.